So, Stu, in this conveyancing Q&A, one of those, I think what the heads of firms think is a really obvious question around confidentiality, but often people in firms at the coalface don't get proper training. Client confidentiality.
Yes. Well, I think we live in an age now, don't we, where we're encouraged to update everybody, share data. To share. Everybody needs to know what's happening. If you don't tell the world that you're doing this, that and the other, you're the bad guy. So I think there's maybe different signals being sent down the line, aren't there? But yeah, client confidentiality, it's one of the foundations of what we do, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point, actually, Stu. This, as I say, this very different world that we inhabit, where, as you say, sharing information seems to be the expectation.
Yeah,
and
the norm.
What everybody else forgets.
Yes.
Estate agents, clients, managing agents, mortgage brokers, everybody forgets that whether you're CLC regulated or SRA regulated, as you quite rightly say, the duty of confidentiality is often referred to as the cornerstone of the lawyer-client relationship.
Of course.
That very, very simple concept, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, keep stuck.
Yeah, or at least make sure you have authority to speak to the person, whoever that may be. And we said earlier, didn't we? There's scenarios where it could be a third party. It could be a sister, a brother, a friend that's helping out, maybe a son or a daughter helping out their mother or father, these kind of scenarios. But what about the chain? What about other estate agents in the chain that could be ringing in for an update? That kind of thing. You could easily say, I'm waiting on this. That piece of information could trigger the chain to prove abortive at the top. Who knows? So, yeah, who are these people? Do you ask these questions and make sure you've got authority to speak to them?
Yeah, I think really, really important, because I think particularly, and again, I don't want to sound like somebody's nan, and I don't want to sound patronising, but I'm probably going to do both, because I think particularly sort of younger conveyancers who are less experienced, who frankly won't perhaps have had such good training, obviously PCS being a notable exception, Stu, but they're going to be under huge pressure in a way that, frankly, I wasn't.
No, absolutely.
Point in their career.
Well, there's more mediums of communication now than ever before, from platforms to, mobiles and WhatsApps and, even, people contacting people on social media. There's so many avenues of, contact now that it is a different world.
It is completely. Everybody is accessible.
Absolutely.
But the conveyancer at the coalface has got this pressure to get rid of the caller or the email to deal with that, that request.
Yes.
So the pressure, as you say, to give the information being requested is very great. And the bottom line is, as you've said, Stu, if that conveyancer doesn't know who it is they're dealing with, whether by email, social media, phone call, whatever, and if the client hasn't said it's okay for you to deal with that person, if you don't know, you've got to say nothing. And I think what less experienced conveyancers often don't realise is, even if I say, yes, I am acting for Stuart Forsdyke, I've already breached.
Yeah, of course you have.
My duty of confidentiality to you if you didn't want me to give that information.
Absolutely.
So just even confirming.
100%.
Yeah.
You could have like a matrimonial situation where, the one party doesn't want the other party to know what's happening. There could be a whole, host of scenarios where even that minuscule amount of detail is a breach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I took over some files from a colleague a few years ago, Stu, and a lovely lass was purchasing and her mum was gifting the deposit. Lovely family. The mum phoned up and sort of said, oh, hello, I'm Daisy's mum. I want to send you the deposit. How's everything going? But there was nothing on the file that told me I could speak to Daisy's mum.
Well, that'd be a real common one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Now, I was 99.9 recurring percent certain I could speak to Daisy's mum. But I still, because I didn't know, got off the call, spoke to Daisy, said, hello, Daisy, I'm your new lawyer. Can I speak to your mum? And she said, yes, Lorraine, you can. And thanks very much for asking me.
But that's the key, isn't it? It's whether you know or not, have you got instructions to? That's the key. Whether you think you can, and exactly as you've said, 99% of the time, I'm sure you would be able to speak to parents about what's happening and the client would probably welcome it. But do you have the instructions on your file that you can do so?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure we've talked about this on a on one of our many YouTube chats, Stu, but I did have the converse where I had Mr. Misery Guts living with his mum. His mum kept ringing up to say, you know, when's his purchase complete, and I can't wait for him to move out. To be honest, I was very sympathetic with her view, I've got to say. But he didn't want me to speak to her.
Yeah.
And I owed him a duty of confidentiality. I couldn't speak to her.
Yeah.
Eventually, I had to say to him, look, your mum's ringing me every day. If she rings me again, I'm putting your fees up.
Yeah.
And that was the way I got rid of her.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, the power of the pound.
Yeah.
But the point was, the duty of confidentiality overrode everything. He was quite an unpleasant guy.
Yeah.
I totally understood why his mum wanted him to move out. But that didn't mean that I could give her the information she was asking for.
No, absolutely. Another point to make is always letting the client know as well. I would sometimes maybe be acting for Joe Blogs and somebody else in the chain may email me. Of course, I would put that on the file and delete. But I would always make a point of letting the client know, just to pre-warn you.
Yeah.
I am receiving emails from somebody called Bob, right, okay, up the chain. I haven't obviously given them any information whatsoever, but just to put you in the picture, I am being hassled. Again, just to put the client in the situation where they know what's happening, and also giving them the opportunity to say to you that you can actually tell people is also important, because if you don't, and the transaction was to go abortive, did the client have the opportunity to say to you that you can release certain things?
Yeah, absolutely. So
taking instructions is so important on almost everything we do.
It is, but particularly around the duty of confidentiality, because that's that wonderful old thing. Once it's out there,
can't take it back.
You can't take it back. So I can call you, a conveyancing numpty. I'd want to call you more, but
I've been called worse, but yeah,
I can imagine, quite frankly, mate. So keep stum. If you don't know who you're talking to, don't give any information at all. Yeah. Take the client's instructions.
Be careful.
Absolutely, despite the pressure.
No, absolutely.
Thanks for that, Stu.